And welcome back. And we're on to the 12th of Jan today. So further maths 5 a day. Well, there only appears to be 4 questions today, but never mind. Further maths 5 a day, and first question coming up. Okay, so it's a factorised fully question. Now the word fully is quite important here, and often, again, a little bit of a clue that there's something to the question, because often people half factorise or well, obviously by definition, don't fully factorise, so be careful. So I would note the numbers, so the coefficients before the terms are 6, 12 and 9. They all divide by 3, so I'm going to take a 3 to the outside. I've got A5, A8 and A6, so the lowest number there is A5. I've got B squared, B3 and B4, so the lowest number is B squared, and so that's what I'm going to factorise to the outside. Now let's consider this first term. If I divide that by 3A5, B2, I'm left with 2. A5 over A5 goes away, B2 over B2 goes away, and it's just a 2. 12 divided by 3 is 4. A8, and if I've taken out 5, that leaves behind 3 A's behind. Again, this is a terrible maths way of doing it, but it makes sense when you say it like that. B cubed divided by B squared is B, and similarly for this last term, 3 divided by 3 is 3. A6, if I've taken out 5 A's, leaves behind an A, and B4, if I've taken out 2, leaves behind a B. And that gives me, as you can see on the screen, 3A5B squared, 2 minus 4A cubed B, plus 3AB squared. Not a terrible question, but also not an easy one. Next question. Okay. This is one of those further math skills you learn. Again, often a comment I often make, we do a lot more of this at A level, do a lot more of this at further maths at A level. But all we're doing here is we're recognising that as n gets very, very large, then I've got 2 times a very, very large number. As 5n gets very, very large, well then adding 4 doesn't make much difference. So in other words, 5 billion and 5 billion and 4 are pretty much the same number. So I'm going to approximate this by 2n over 5n. And 2n over 5n means the n's cancel, which gives me 2/5. And I will say, as an aside, if you get your calculator out and put in a very large number, you do get 2/5. It feels like it's a bit of a fake thing, but it does work. Next question. All right, so we've got a bit of trigonometric solving here, so let's just do that. So let's move the 2 to the other side, which gives me sine theta equals minus 0.85. That has given me, well, what am I doing? I'm doing it between 0 and 360, so it's a one full loop. Minus 0.85 is down here somewhere, so I need 2 solutions. So if I get my calculator out, well, my calculator is going to be unhelpful because my calculator is going to tell me a negative number. It's going to tell me this number over here. So let's do that now. To get my calculator out, my calculator tells me that inverse sine of minus 0.85 is minus 58.2 degrees. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to add 360 in order to move from here over to here. Then I need to recognise that this gap here is also 58.2. So I'm going to do 180 plus 58.2. So both of those together, so let's do it carefully. So 180 plus 58.2 is 238.2, and 360 minus 58.2, or minus 58.2 plus 360, same idea, is going to give me 301.8. Nothing in the question about number of decimal places or anything else. I would say at least 1 decimal place here. Don't need more than that because it's 4 sig figs, that's sufficient. Last question. Work out the equation of the normal. So obviously one of the key errors here is it's normal, not tangent. It's a differentiation question. So let's differentiate. There's always a couple of marks in the exam. 1, to know how to differentiate. 2, for actually differentiating correctly. So if I differentiate, I get 4x minus 4, and I want to know what the gradient is. So I'm going to use a differentiation function, or the gradient function, at x equals 2. So in other words, at x equals 2, dy dx equals 4 times 2, which is 8, minus 4, which is 4. So my gradient is 4. However, I want the gradient of the normal. So that's a negative reciprocal. So my negative reciprocal is minus 1 over 4. Let's put that into my y minus y1 equation. So y minus the y value, which is 3, equals minus a quarter times x minus the x value, which is 2. Let's do some expanding and collecting. So that's y equals minus a quarter x minus minus 2 quarters is a half, plus the 3 I'm bringing over, and that gives me y equals minus a quarter x plus a half plus 3 is a half plus 6 tooths, which is going to be 7/2. And that's today's question done. Quite a nice mix of questions again today. It feels like we're mixing it up a bit after a bit of a slower start with some of the questions. As ever, leave a comment below. Any questions, I will look to answer them as soon as I can. And like and subscribe to the channel, please. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you for the next one.